Next on the world's most amazing videos. Vicious body slams. Nasty face plants. Feel the wrath of wicked wipeouts. First, a champion freestyle motocrosser suffers a chest-crushing crash. Then, a racer's day ends in a heavy metal massacre. Plus, an extreme snowmobile climb throws a rider into a double diamond death roll. And later, a kite surfer grabs air, but takes a cliff to the face. These are the incredible true life stories of people who faced their most desperate hour and lived to tell about it. Everything you are about to see is real. Real people, real danger, real excitement. Get ready to experience the thrill of a lifetime. You are about to witness the world's most amazing videos. Tonight, Wicked Wipeouts.
Pemberton Valley, British Columbia. It's the annual Big Dog Shootout, a competition in which extreme snowmobilers try to one-up each other with feats of daring. Tim McGregor is going for the sickest hill climb. He's the reigning champ in this event from last year. And Tim is sure that if he makes this run, he'll retain his title. He twists back the throttle and flies up the mountain's face with relative ease. But 400 feet up, the incline gets steeper. By 600 feet, Tim is nearly vertical. As a helicopter spotter moves in, the snowmobile suddenly peters out, and Tim suffers a killer fall. Tim slams gut first into a jagged rock as his 600-pound snowmobile flies within inches of his head. The sliding rider rumbles lifelessly down the craggy mountain. His helmet cam shows just how violent the fall is. After what seems like an eternity, he comes to a stop. The chopper focuses in on Tim lying motionless. But then, Tim stands, amazed to be alive.
Oh my God, I'm still here. Nothing was hanging off me or nothing was broken and out of joint.
As emergency crews work their way up the steep hill, Tim relives his fall.
I definitely feared about dying. The transition was so steep that once it laid down, I just went with the natural way of the mountain. And I'm going, oh my God, oh no, this ain't gonna be good.
Tim knows he got lucky.
Fuck, good to see you, buddy. I was wondering.
I thought it was done.
Yeah, I was nervous.
My injuries were just bruised ribs, bruised hip.
His snowmobile has also suffered a nasty thrashing. For his pain, Tim is awarded Sickest Climb, Best Crash, and the overall Big Dog Belt. Tim plans to defend his title next year. But he's learned that if he's not careful, his quest to be the big dog could make him a dead dog. Wiltshire, England. Caterham race cars take their marks for the K-Series Challenge. The K-Series is a super light model, weighing only 1,100 pounds. Their small frames are built for speed. Going from 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. And topping out at 155 miles per hour. But such raw power leads to frequent wipeouts. And one is about to turn catastrophic. Car 66, Paul Wickford, looks to pass a competitor. But when he heads low on a turn, his opponent cuts him off and clips his tire. He launches into a barrel roll and slams the wall at 90 miles per hour. Just feet away, another car spins out and barely avoids skidding into Paul's path. Thanks to his roll cage, Paul survives the terrifying crash. But his prized Caterham is a mangled wreck. These tiny cars come with big risks. Fortunately, this monster collision didn't end in major tragedy. Westchester, Pennsylvania. Brian Deegan is more than just a good freestyle motocrosser. He actually pioneered the sport. He even holds a record for the most motocross X Game medals. But one stunt is about to change the course of his life forever.
It's gonna be a magical day in the history books here.
Brian and his crew entertain friends at a party, pulling tricks across a 90-foot jump. But Brian wants to close things out with a backflip. It's a brutal finale. As Brian goes airborne, a 40-mile-an-hour crosswind slows his rotation. His front tire hits the ground too soon, slamming the handlebars up under his chest plate. Brian collapses in a painful heap. Friends rush in.
Oh man, it hurt my rib.
From the rim?
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
But it's much worse than anyone thinks. The impact caused Brian's left kidney to explode. Now his torn renal artery is pumping blood directly into his abdomen.
Lost in the wind a little bit. All right, buddy?
It hurts.
If he doesn't get to an operating room soon, he will die.
No, it hurts. Yeah.
But the nearest ambulance is 45 minutes away. By the time it arrives, Brian is pale and clinging to life. In the hospital, doctors will work furiously to repair severe internal injuries, knowing it will take a near miracle for him to survive.
When I woke up, it took me a minute to like figure out that I was alive, and I was jacked up bad.
Brian comes to with the crash still seared into his memory.
I've never been in pain that bad before. I felt like I got shot in the stomach, like by a shotgun.
It hurts.
I've been there when my buddies have died, you know, and gone into shock, and I'm like, dude, that's me right now. And I'm like, please don't let me die.
After losing the kidney and rupturing his spleen, Brian knows how lucky he is. The sport he helped create nearly took his life. Now, it's given him a new perspective on it.
I appreciate life to where every day I wake up, pumped just to be alive. I look around, I'm like, I could have been dead that day.
Coming up, an innovative thrill on the water leads to a gut-busting splash. And daring tricks on a frozen stair rail leave a snowboarder with a splitting headache. Then, a collision on the track throws a race car into chaos. Next on the world's most amazing videos, Wicked Wipeouts. Now back to the world's most amazing videos, Wicked Wipeouts.
Taylor, Texas. A group of friends are out on the lake for a day of kite tubing. It's a mixture of water skiing, inner tubing, and parasailing, with the body of the tube acting as an airfoil. The hard part is keeping steady in flight. Not many people pull it off, but that won't stop thrill seeker Nick Kritsky from trying.
We discussed the possibility of, going just fast enough to make sure that we were able to get the kite tube in the air, get a little flight time, and then be able to come back down without crashing.
It's easier said than done. The recommended speed for kite tubing is between 25 and 30 miles per hour. But the boat quickly hits 40. In seconds, Nick is soaring skyward.
All of a sudden, it was higher than I wanted to be. Thought of coming down as fast as I went up was definitely scary.
Just 4 seconds into the climb, it happens. A gust of wind flips the tube and flings Nick 20 feet down into the lake. He slams headfirst into the water at nearly 60 feet per second. Nick's friends double back as he bobs to the surface.
You all right, bro? That could not have felt good, man. You all right?
I hit the water pretty hard. I realized that there was something wrong with my ear. My hearing was not returning as quickly as what I'd like it to be. When I got to the emergency room, they told me that I had ruptured my eardrum.
It will take a full 6 months away from the water for Nick's ear to heal. And kite tubes have since been recalled after leaving dozens of others in their hard-hitting wake. Steamboat Springs, Colorado. An outdoor staircase attracts freestyle snowboarders, eager to test their skills. But one will test the limits of pain. It's James Seaver's turn to do a rail slide, but his board clips the bar. Not wearing a helmet, his skull smacks metal with a sickening thud. His friends rush in to check on him.
All right, James? Yeah.
Oh, he's bleeding from the head hard.
The vicious hit cuts a 2-inch gash in his scalp.
Are you dizzy?
No.
All right.
I'm done now.
James is able to stand
Dripping, man.
You're so bloody, dude.
and show off his nasty wound.
Your head's just...
After being stitched up, James decides to start wearing a helmet during tricks, knowing it can be the difference between a day of fun and a deadly demise. Irwindale, California. It's lap 43 of a 50-lap sprint at the Irwindale Speedway. Kevin Wood is driving the number 34 car. He's been trailing for most of the race, but now he's ready to make his move. His spotter radios to give him the all clear. He ducks low to pass. But when he swings back wide, disaster strikes. Kevin hits the surging 4-car at over 90 miles an hour. They slam into a jutting exit wall that flips them both over. It's a grisly sight. Officials halt the race while the stunned crowd waits in silence. A minute later, a sign of hope. The driver of the number 4 car emerges unscathed. But Kevin Wood is still trapped inside his crumpled racer. Emergency workers scramble to free him from the twisted debris. Then, a miracle. Wood emerges from the wreckage without a scratch. He waves to the crowd to let them know he's okay. It's an amazing end to a devastating accident. And Wood is as stunned as anyone that he survived.
When I rewatch the footage, I think to myself, you know, I was very fortunate to have been able to walk away from that wreck. We got down to about the last 7 laps. I knew that I had to make a move. Right as I started to come back up into the high groove, my spotter came over the radio and he said, he's coming back, he's coming back. When it hit, I mean, it hit hard.
Despite his harrowing experience, Wood is back racing again in a new car within 6 months.
If you're afraid for your life, you don't need to be out on their track. You have to learn how to put fear aside. Fear is not an option.
Still to come, a steeplechase race leaves a runner with a bitter taste of hurdle. Plus, a skier catches tricky air until he gets his knocked out.
I can't breathe.
And spectators hoping for a spin-out find themselves in the crosshairs of mayhem. When the world's most amazing videos, Wicked Wipeouts continues. Now back to the world's most amazing videos, Wicked Wipeouts.
Hibbing, Minnesota. Freestyle snowmobiler Kevin Dickey prepares to jump a homemade snow ramp. He gets into position and guns it. It's a perfect landing. Now he's up for a harder challenge.
I knew I could go bigger, and friends pretty much egged me on to go quicker, faster, and I'm kind of the person that'll do that.
Kevin adds 3 sleds to the end of the ramp. He must clear an additional 15 feet. He cranks up his ride to 50 miles per hour. But this speed demon is about to hit rock bottom. Kevin's approach is doomed before he hits the ramp.
I didn't factor in that all the powder was gone from the first jump. But right when I got to the top, it felt like a roller coaster just going straight up and just right off the tracks.
30 feet in the air, the 600-pound machine pitches him into a nosedive.
My sled crushed me, and then it flipped back over me. My friends didn't know what happened to me, whether I was paralyzed or dead.
You all right?
Lying in the snow, Kevin fears he's done permanent damage to himself.
I couldn't feel my legs really. They were numb. I was holding them because I didn't know if they were broken or not. And then I finally started getting the sensation of my legs being able to move them.
Amazingly, he escapes with just some bruises and soreness.
I couldn't believe that I was still okay, that I didn't have a broken neck, arms, legs, you name it. I'm lucky to be alive.
Osaka, Japan. Runners take their marks at the World Championship Steeplechase race. At the sound of the gun, they're off. Each 36-inch hurdle will have to be cleared 28 times in this grueling contest. But one athlete is about to take a painful detour. Number 344 goes for the jump, but stumbles. He smacks the bar mouth first in a tooth-rattling faceplant. Competitors have no time to react. They pile up in an ugly chain reaction. The severe hit has sliced open the runner's lip and jaw.
Fielder coming into the home straight now. They've not been able to move him.
Despite the wipeout, the race powers on. But the only way this runner will cross the finish line is on a stretcher. Schweitzer, Idaho. Free skier Andreas Houtveit practices catching big air at a ski resort. His high-flying tricks have landed him championship titles. But today, he's in for an agonizing downfall.
Help! 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 I can't breathe! Oh, bad!
A recent rainstorm has iced the ramp, sending his skis out from under him before he can achieve full rotation. He smacks the ground with a stunning belly flop. The sudden force paralyzes his diaphragm.
Help! I can't breathe! Oh, bad!
Moments later, he heaves a sigh of relief.
Gosh, I hate not being able to breathe, dude.
Yeah, oh my God, let me see your eye. Oh.
Your eye was cut out, huh?
He has a shiner, but is otherwise in one piece. In a sport where crash landings can prove fatal, lucky this terrifying miscue only left him gasping for air. Epping, England. A sharp turn at a road rally race attracts fans eager for a good view of a spin-out. Drivers slam their brakes trying to negotiate the surprise hairpin. One racer stops so suddenly, he kills his engine, leaving onlookers to help push him off the road. But one fast car is about to give the crowd what they want in terrifying close-up. The two-man team flies over the hill at 60 miles an hour and loses control. Their 3,000-pound vehicle somersaults 4 times, straight through the gallery. A stunned photographer comes within inches of certain death. Bystanders rush toward the mangled wreck. They find the racers wobbly, but alive. Medics arrive to treat their bruises, while the cameraman escapes without a scratch. They're all lucky to have walked away from what could have been a very bloody finish line.
Just ahead, a downhill sprint on a mountain bike turns a pro rider into trail roadkill. Then, a kite surfer's high-flying ride comes to a rocky end. And later, a daredevil snowmobiler suffers a chilling catastrophe. That's straight ahead on the world's most amazing videos, Wicked Wipeouts. Now back to the world's most amazing videos, Wicked Wipeouts.
Engadine Valley, Switzerland. It's ideal conditions for the day's kiteboarding exhibition, with winds gusting to 50 miles per hour. A kite surfer grabs an updraft and flies over 30 feet into the sky to pull off a double 360. But the wind isn't done with him yet. And it goes from bad to worse. Tethered to his kite, the performer slams into the rocky shore. He's then yanked another 15 feet in the air and thrown to the ground with brutal force. Spectators and fellow boarders rush to his side. The surfer suffers multiple cuts and bruises, but escapes any major trauma. The soaring winds gave him a high-flying rush. He never thought this big air would nearly blow him away. Eclipse Snow Park, Colorado. Skier Ahmet Dadali knows how to pull big jumps. He also knows a soft landing is never guaranteed. Pulled by a snowmobile for maximum speed, the hot dogger takes flight. He does a full 900-degree spin before touching down. But when Ahmet hits snow, his face hits his ski pole. Ahmet's friends find him terrified and in pain.
There's one scary fall, very scary. Got a little off in the air, so I knew I was coming down pretty hard, and right as I landed, the ski pole jams into the snow and hits me in the face.
I see the girl.
The skier breaks his nose, his front tooth, and he loses a lot of blood. But once the shock wears off, the thing he's most worried about is his rep.
I started screaming a little bit about my tooth being out. Usually I'm pretty tough with my falls, so I felt a little bit embarrassed about that.
Luckily, both his body and his ego heal. And though the mountain faced him this time, Ahmet vows to get his revenge.
You can't let one fall hold you back. I'm gonna keep going at it and hit that jump again, nail it.
The big island of Hawaii. Professional BMXer Dave Mira competes in the Extreme Planet downhill race, a 5-mile sprint to the bottom of the mountain. This athlete holds the record for the most X Games gold medals. And he even has his own video game. But on this course, none of that matters. Dave struggles to navigate the rutted trail and tight turns. It's given the leader a chance to pull away. Mira knows he has to turn on the speed if he wants to catch up. He pumps downhill, accelerating to 40 miles an hour. It will cause his worst wipeout of the day. Dave's front tire hits a stone, throwing his back end left and then up. He's body slammed to the rocky earth. Ignoring the searing pain, he gets back in the fight.
You're in second, Dave. Take it easy, man. Make sure you're all right.
But the delay is too much. The front runner reaches the finish line first. Dave feels the loss in more ways than one.
Shoulders ripped, slammed. It's just gnarly, man. It was a gnarly heat for me.
His multiple wipeouts may have cost him the win, but after a wreck like this, he's lucky to finish at all.
Up next, a dragster tears up some back roads until a tree cuts his car down to size. Plus, a snowboarder's taste for stunts leads to an icy mouthful of failure. And a motorcycle racer tests out a course and ends up battered on the asphalt. When the world's most amazing videos, Wicked Wipeouts returns. Now back to the world's most amazing videos, Wicked Wipeouts.
Jennings, Florida. Rider Mike Brown prepares for a race by testing out the track. His friend follows behind, documenting each turn. It's important to know which curves are fast, which ones are tight, and which ones are an accident waiting to happen. As Mike carves through turn 11 at 90 miles per hour, his back tire slips. He's launched off the bike and ragdolls across the asphalt. The violent impact destroys his motorcycle. But Mike's helmet and leather racing suit limit his injuries to some minor road rash. He'll need a new ride for the race. But at least he knows not to let turn 11 get the best of him again. Big Bear, California. The American Snowboard Tour is hosting a big air competition. Freestyler Muggs McGinnis has a daring jump planned. A huge 900-degree spin.
Good luck, man. All right, Mike, let's get the real crazy. Here it comes.
But he ends up eating 30-degree snow. Muggs pops off the ramp with a good rotation. But he leans his body too far back. The 40-foot plunge ends with an icy faceplant. The fallen flyer hops to his feet. But the crash landing has cut open his eye.
I got some blood rolling.
Muggs was hoping to win top prize. But this wild ride ended with a nasty mug shot. Baltimore, Maryland. A street racer runs a Corvette along a windy back road.
Is that really happening?
He borrowed the Roadster from a friend's used car lot, claiming he just wanted a test drive. He's about to fail that test.
I knew something was gonna happen.
He skids out and rams a tree at 40 miles per hour. The impact knocks his rear tires 5 feet into the air. The 2002 Corvette is returned with a bent frame and a wrecked suspension. The damage totals $25,000, making this the most expensive loaner ever driven.
I knew something was gonna happen.
Coming up, a snowmobiler takes to the sky until one jump leaves him ground into mush. That's next on the world's most amazing videos, Wicked Wipeouts. Now, back to the world's most amazing videos, Wicked Wipeouts.
Summit County, Colorado. Extreme snowmobiler Brian Hennick warms up for a death-defying jump. He'll attempt to sail across this 140-foot wide expanse. It's 10 feet too many. Despite going 80 miles an hour, Brian can't clear the gap. He bails, but his legs slam into the snowbank, snapping on impact. He slides down the hill in a crumpled heap. Friends reach him in seconds. They quickly secure the injured thrill seeker and load him into a snowcat. The snowmobiler has 2 broken ankles, shattered heels, and the haunting memory of a stunt that nearly killed him.
All I saw was that wall coming at me, the flat wall of snow coming at me. Oh my God, I'm not gonna make it. What am I gonna do? Best case scenario, get away from the sled right now. Get away, and prepare for impact.
the pain in his legs is intense. He'll spend the next several months in a wheelchair. But when it comes to his recovery, unlike his jump, he makes it to the other side. He just hopes his crash can serve as a warning to other extreme snowmobilers.
I definitely advise people not to do the big gaps like that. We call them the death gap. You know, if you don't make it, you don't make it. There's no come up short and walk away smiling.
They push themselves to insane limits in hopes of achieving the perfect thrill. Their failure can be spectacular and leave them wallowing in painful misery. But as long as they continue their quest, the only way to conquer the challenge is to run the risk of wicked wipeouts. Join us next time for more of the world's most amazing videos.